All right, so terminating. So here I'm now at, you can see here I have steps, right? And we'll get to that in a minute, but let's go back here. All right, so we have 7/9. I'm going to make the 9 negative. 7 divided by negative 9. Well, we know that 7, anything positive divided by negative, the answer is negative. So let's set this guy up. 9 divided by 7. What did I just do? 9 divided, no, oh, bad. 7 divided by 9. 7 divided by 9. 7 divided by, see, that's even confusing for me, which is preposterous. But all right, let's start. All right, so there's my problem, and that's too crap, so let's fix it. 7 divided by 9. All right? And we know that a positive divided by a negative is a negative. So I'm going to put my, and I'm not going to bother putting it here or in here. You could, but for me that's confusing. So what is 70 divided by 9? 6? Nope, 7? Yeah, 7 times. 7. So 7 times 9 is 63. Uh-oh, I got 70, and I have a 70. Let's see what happens again. Uh-oh, I'm going to get 70 again. In fact, it keeps repeating. So this is not a terminating. It's not going to end. It's going to keep going. And so you would want to express this as negative 7 with a bar on top. Because what it says is that it's going to go forever. So that's one way a repeating decimal could manifest itself. Let's look at this one. This one's a little different. This says negative 6/11. Or if I set it up as a decimal, it's 6 divided by 11. 6 divided by 11. And I'm just going to follow my steps. I'm going to say it 3 divided by 4. 3 divided by 4. 3 divided by 4. And then I work it out. So, let's go for it. 5, 55, 54, 44. What? I got a 16. I started off with a 16. What's going to happen? What's going to happen, guys? This is annex is 0. Bring it down. Look at that. What is happening? What do you guys see is happening? Well, it's going to repeat forever. It's just going to keep repeating. And so this one would be expressed as, first of all, this is a negative 6/11. So after we divide it, we make it negative. So I divided it. Here's my answer. And since that 54 hundredths is repeating, I would put a bar over both of those because both of those the 54s are repeats. It's not like this one where just the 7 repeats. Here we have the 54. And at the end of this, we have to make it negative. So that would be another repeating decimal. All right? Now, I've done all of these, guys. These are the many different ways of doing this. And the many different scenarios. But the one thing I really want you to keep in mind for those of you who might still be struggling with this is that, guys, at the beginning I showed you how to do it one way, and then the rest I showed you this pathway of division. If you're confused, then it's 1 divided by 2. Read it. Read what it says. 1 divided by 2. That's how you should set it up and divide away. That is your most safe and secure way until you feel more confident. So let's all turn to page, where are we at? I got 6 minutes. Let's turn to page 266. Page 266. Here we are. And we have, number 1, we have 2/5. So we're going to, or we could say 2 divided by 5, right? 2 divided by 5. 2 divided by 5. So set it up that way. Annex some zeros. Does it have to be 3? No. What is 20 divided by 5? 4. And did it end? Yeah, we're done. So it terminated. 2/5 is equal to 4/10. Those are the same thing, just written differently. All right. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 says negative 9/10. Now, if you can see that if you can think of place value and you realize, hey, that's a 9/10. That's in a tenths place. Do it that way. But if you can't see that, then do it the sure way. Divide. 9 divided by 10. 9 divided by 10. I'm going to put, there we go. I'm going to annex some zeros, make it neat. And what's 90 divided by 10? 9. And it terminated. But don't forget, this was a negative divided by a positive. And we know that that answer is negative. So don't forget that portion. Let's look at 3. Let's look at number 3. It says 5/9, or, say it with me, 5 divided by 9. 5 divided by 9. I'm going to annex some zeros just for kicks. Well, actually, you have to. 50 divided by 9, that would be, what is that? 5 times? 5 times that is 45. I subtract, I get 5 because I borrowed. Uh-oh. Look what's happening. It's repeating again. And guess what? It's just going to keep repeating. And so the answer for this is, you would use a bar over the repeating 5. So is 5/9 and repeating 5 forever equal? Yeah, they're the same thing. This is how you would convert it. Let's take a look at number 3. Now number 3 is going to say it a little differently. Instead of going from a fraction to a decimal, they're going to actually go the other way. Look what it says. During a hockey game, an ice surfer travels, is that really what it says? An ice surfer travels 0.75 miles. What fraction represents that? So they want you to make 75 hundredths into a fraction. Now guys, here's the problem with saying this is 0.75. When you say it that way, you miss out on, if you said it a more complete way, which is 75 hundredths. And when you say it that way, here's ones, decimal, tenths, hundredths. You miss out on this really important detail. 75 hundredths is also 75 hundredths. And did I just make it a decimal? I did. No, I just made it a fraction. And so that is one little detail that you will see a little bit more later. Let's try another one. How about this one? Look at this one. Look at this one. Uh-oh, now my notes are getting crazy. What does that say? 2 tenths. 2 tenths. 2 tenths. 2 tenths. 2 tenths. See that? Isn't that nice? So it's easy to convert your tenths to hundredths. Let's try one more. How about this one? What if it's this? And now I'm doing my notes are everywhere. That's okay. Let's try it like this. 55 hundredths. 55 hundredths. 55 hundredths. And so in closing, I hope this fits, convert these into fractions. Ready? Convert those into fractions. All right, we'll say it. 2 tenths. 2 tenths. 50 hundredths. 50 hundredths. 75 hundredths. 75 hundredths. 3 tenths. 3 tenths. 11 hundredths. 11 hundredths. All right, guys. We will review this more in class. I will see you soon.